Hello, welcome to another Smart Success story with HBXL. Today we're going to be with MJ Building Services from Cornwall, who are going to tell us about their experience with Health and Safety Expert. My name's Adrian Wild, I'm the Managing Director of HBXL. I was a builder and property developer for over 25 years. I completed over 300 extensions and 80 new builds, and I wrote the software to help me run my businesses. Today, we're going to be hearing from Mark at MJ Building Services. He took on Health and Safety Expert in 2013. Mark also uses the complete suite of HBXL software to run his rapidly expanding business. We've recorded his interview in advance due to his busy schedule. The interview is with me, Adrian Wild, MD of HBXL, and Joanna Mulgrew, our Product Development Director. Hello, my name is Adrian Wild. I'm the MD of HBXL. Today I'm with Joanna Mulgrew, a director in HBXL, who's deeply involved in the development of the software, our business and marketing, and has a particular interest in health and safety as well. I'm also pleased to say we've got Mark Jones again with us. In an earlier conversation we were chatting with Mark about how he uses the other software to run his business. But today we're going to have a bit of a focus on Health and Safety Expert and also a brief run around how it connects back to the main software if Mark has time from his busy schedule. So, hi Mark, once again thank you for taking the time to discuss the software, and if we can jump straight in on the software and tell us how you use it. I'm really fascinated to know how it's applied to your business.
Yeah, we use it in conjunction with everything else. The Health and Safety Expert we use on a daily basis on site and based in our office.
Okay.
With constant changes with method statements, risk assessments to comply with the latest regulations.
Right. That sounds like it's a load of work then, is it?
Well, it is and it isn't. With Health and Safety Expert, it makes our job a lot easier. So instead of having to set out risk assessments and method statements from scratch with the program, you can input the relevant information and it puts it together for you. So it makes our job a lot easier.
Right. So it's turned it into quite a quick process rather than a complete. I'm trying to be polite here. A complete ball ache, to use a term.
There's a lot of obviously templates already in there that are relevant with everything within the building industry. Sometimes obviously you have to alter the risk assessments to comply with the day-to-day runnings of a building site. But it just makes the process a lot easier. It's a matter of changing a few boxes and just inputting the relevant information.
There's a little bit of tweaking rather than staring at a blank piece of paper and wondering how you get started.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of help boxes with it that push you in the right direction if you aren't 100% sure on what you need to be putting in the relevant boxes.
So, for what kind of work do you use Health and Safety Expert? Because, what type of projects for the benefits of the listeners do you end up using the software on?
We use it for everything from new builds, extensions, renovations, frameworks, plumbing and heating, the electrical side as well. We use it, a lot of our stuff straight from the site setup, because obviously with the regulations, with build construction phase plans, etc. Obviously, Health and Safety Expert does all that for you. And being a site agent, it's the first thing that I do before I even step foot on site is make sure that my health and safety files and everything are in place and that we're covered.
Yeah. So for those the smaller projects, obviously for house building and those larger projects, obviously your CDM is obviously very important and you've got to comply. But on the smaller projects, things like extensions and conversion work, what have you, which obviously a lot of people don't think CDM kind of is kind of necessary for them to comply with. How do you use the software on those kind of scale projects?
We use a software exactly the same, whether it's a new build or whether it's a minor project.
Yeah.
Even small works, a day works or anything, we still use the system. There's still risks involved, and that we have to maintain that all our staff are working safely and working as we want them to work. So it doesn't matter what size project, you still need to use the software.
Yeah. So does that give you, as a business owner, a sense of more security and confidence that you've got things in place should the worst kind of happen on site, that you've done everything that you can to make sure that everything is in place?
Yeah, you need that peace of mind. I can't be everywhere. We run up to 7 sites at one time.
Yeah.
And being the business owner, I can't be everywhere. And I need to have the confidence that the guys are working safely, because at the end of the day, it's, the pun, my head is the one that's on the block.
Yeah,
Even if we've given them the information, it's still there. You still got that risk, but you try and minimise it any way you can, which is why we use this software.
Yeah. So in terms of the documentation that you produce, what kind of people ask you for the documentation, or is it more for your kind of internal use, or both?
Obviously, on our commercial and our school works, we have to provide it to the CDM coordinator.
Yeah.
And we also have to provide it we've got an external health and safety consultant that comes in and does audits on every site once a month.
Yeah.
And he wants to see it to make sure that we are keeping it up to date as we're going.
Yeah. And that's easy to do so, do you feel, from the tools that you have within Health and Safety Xpert?
Yeah, it's superb. It does everything. I'm sitting here now in my office looking at my file here now with everything in it. It's so simplified, makes the job a lot easier. We've got an employee in our office who's never worked in the construction industry before, but she has even been running health and safety software in the office for the minor work. So if we've got a small team going out, she'll make sure that she goes into it, knows what they're doing, and she deals with it, prints it out, and gives it to them the morning before they go out to work.
Oh, brilliant. So you're kind of really actively using it. It's not just a paperwork exercise, because I know some people think, it's just paperwork, and, if I've got it down, documented, job done, but it's more than that, isn't it? It actually actively using the documents it produces to make sure people know what they're doing in a timely way, I guess.
Yeah, you've got to. It's, with the HSE now, with the fee for intervention, where, if they come along and they find a minor thing wrong, you're looking at a lot of money. So making sure that you use the software correctly and having everything in place is paramount. Even down to the checklists, checking your site when you do a site setup, along with your PPE registers. If somebody has an accident but they've signed that PPE register that the software develops to say that, yes, they have been provided with it and they haven't used it, then you're covered if they were to ever put a personal injury claim in. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of protective, isn't it? But you hear stories of staff that have kind of left businesses and then, maybe under a bit of a cloud, and suddenly saying, I've got severe back problems now because of X and Y, and, you didn't tell me about how I was meant to use this equipment. And we can actually say, no, you were trained on it, and you've used that, you went to that toolbox talk, or you used that, you were trained and have recorded it on the PPE registers and what have you. So you've got that cover.
Yeah, we actually print a full copy of everything off for every site.
Yeah.
We could keep it to a memory stick, but we do print it off. We actually put the file on the site setup. When any new members of staff come to the site, they are left to sit there for a couple of hours to read it.
Yeah.
And then they have to sign an acknowledgement to say that they've read everything that's in that file.
Yeah.
And that they have accepted it, and they accept responsibility that they are to work safely.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So would you say your business has changed from before you had the software to after, or is it kind of just been is it just an enabler? Would you say? I'm sure you weren't doing things badly on site. You sound very switched on so far as your health and safety, but has it changed things in terms of your business at all in any way?
In the first year of having Health and Safety Xpert, we saved ourselves just shy of £5,000.
Wow.
Because previously we used to, our external consultants used to do all our construction phase plans, our risk assessments, method statements, everything. Because we physically didn't have time to do it. So they used to write it all for us.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, their time is expensive, and for them to produce all the documents, and with the amount of work we've got going. So now, we've all got the programs. It doesn't take long to do it. So we saved that money in the first year, and obviously we're constantly saving every year since.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. That's it, and that's a true saving, isn't it? You can see, right? We've not been paying having to pay invoices to a consultant. So presumably that means that the margin on every job, it's obviously hard to identify where all your money goes, isn't it, and where your profits go. But you can be saying, well, I haven't needed a consultant anywhere near as much on that project just to do the independent audits, as you were saying earlier. So sorry.
Yeah, they just come in now once a month to each site. They check our files and they do a site inspection and off they go, which is £100 instead of on an initial site setup, construction phase plans, you're looking £1,500–1,600.
Yeah, so true saving.
So today you'd probably be spending $20,000 a year if you were still doing it manually.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
So you were saying previously about the staff on site, or some of the site managers, I think, at least guys on site were using the software as well as in your head office, your main office. What are the guys on site doing with the software, if I might ask?
They'll update their method statements, because obviously when you're in the process of doing a job, if something changes from how the original method statement is written, then you need to reassess it and put the alterations onto a method statement again, and get the men to sign it to say, yes, okay, we've changed the process of works, and that they've accepted that, yes, right, okay, we're going to do it that way now. Yeah. So they're constantly using it in that respect. Same with the risk assessment, toolbox talks. Obviously, they do toolbox talks. We do 2 a week on each site within our company. Yeah. So obviously they've got the toolbox talk registers. Same as the site inductions and the daily sign-in sheets. Obviously, we use them off the software as well. Yeah. So, every part of the software is used on a daily basis.
And so, how is it getting to grips with the software in the first place? Because obviously, you're saying you're using every part of it. Obviously, we've designed it to be straightforward. We think from our end, but obviously, it's only when it's in the hands of a real user, a real company using it, and we get feedback that way. How was it learning the software in the first place?
No problem whatsoever. I think we had it up and running in half an hour. Each one of them, I've inducted all our other site agents with the software and shown them how I use it and what I do with it. Yeah. And it's taken me half an hour at a time, and that's it. It's simple. There's no real hiccups. There's no technical issues with it. As long as you fill in the right tabs, etc., you can find all the information you want.
And have you ever called the team, the business support team, with reference Health and Safety Xpert at all, or has it been straightforward enough not to need to call them?
No, we've never called them with the Health and Safety Xpert at all. Yeah.
Cracking. And I think from the system we can see that you maintain the support and updates on the software. Just from my perspective, I think Health and Safety Xpert is one of the more important products to kind of keep it updated with, because the regulations just change, and they're changing underneath building firms all the time, and I think that's quite a hard thing to keep on top of. So it's something beyond your control that keeps changing. Do you kind of get the updates for the software and what have you?
Yeah, we update it obviously as often as there's an update. When we get the email to say that there's a new update available, or it's always online, so obviously it'll pick things up as well. But you've got to keep up to date with the current legislation. It's only going to get harder within this industry.
Yeah.
My personal view is that the way the HSE are looking at the construction industry is that I think that they're going to make it a lot harder for the smaller companies.
Yeah.
And, if you haven't got your things right, your paperwork right, and PPE, etc., then they're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We get constant visits because of the size of the sites that we've got.
Yeah.
We own a big 35-metre tower crane, which is constantly up on the site, and that's a big advertisement for
passing HSE officer. Come and see me.
I just as well put a sign on the top. Yes, we're here. Come and say.
Yeah. So you've had lots of HSE visits then, having had the software.
Well, now with their new fees and because they're an independent as such, they make their own money.
Yeah.
They've now got there's a coach down this way that they go around on. They drop them off in the villages and towns. And
really?
Off they go and have a walk. Yeah.
Blimey, I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, but it's good, and in my point of view, because we spend so much money and so much time making sure that our sites are safe and our men are safe, I think it's about time that they did start intervening with other people and getting them the same, because they're the type of people that cause the accidents, which makes it harder for the ones that are doing things right.
Yeah, and I guess if they're able to be that micro amount cheaper, or that amount cheaper, because they're not making sure that their sites are safe and they're not investing in their businesses, it sounds like you are, then they can undercut unfairly in a way, because they're not doing it not doing it properly, or to use your cricketing term, they're playing a straight bat.
We've seen it. Just for there's a site just down the road from us that we priced the job, and we were in good running for it. Somebody else come along and priced it. They undercut us by nearly £100,000.
Wow.
This was nearly £1 million project.
Yeah.
But, it involved a big demolition of an old commercial building and then a new development property. We had everything planned right. They came along, did the demolition without any asbestos surveys or anything else, and in the end, Health and Safety went in there, and they've actually been fined £28,000 because they didn't even have a risk assessment on site.
Oh my God.
So, that's why we make sure that everything is as it should be, and make sure all our guys are safe.
So what do the HSE say when they see your documentation and your approach?
They're good with it. Obviously with our constant visits, the first thing they want to see is, especially on the CDM projects, the first thing they ask for is a construction phase plan. And if you haven't got that there, straight away they will notify you you're in for a fee of intervention, and they will charge you until you've got that in place. Now, if you've got to go and find a company to do that for you, or you've got to process it yourself, unless you've got the experience in doing it, it's costly. It's might be wrong, £124 an hour that they charge you from the minute they arrived on site. Yeah,
it ends up really quite expensive. Yeah, average fines are nearly £1,000 nowadays, I think.
Yeah, so for the cost of the software, it outbalances it altogether. It's just something I would never ever think of not having. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
do you use it in conjunction with Estimator? In conjunction with Estimator Express?
Yes, when we obviously price the jobs and everything in Estimator, we do upload the job into Health and Safety Xpert, because it then takes the information that we've already inputted into Estimator, like client details, etc. It automatically uploads that to Health and Safety Xpert. So again, it's another time-saving process where you aren't having to re-enter all the relevant information, and it'll pick out most of the risk assessments, cost assessments that are relevant for that job.
Yeah. And of course, that's flowed through from Plans Express as well, hasn't it? So I often say, when I'm demonstrating the software, I say to the guys who are interested in buying it, as soon as you've drawn that line across your page for your wall or dropped your window in, all your health and safety information has been prepared just by doing that, which is so time saving, isn't it?
Cascades all the way through.
That's the word, cascades through it.
Yeah, it does. You've got to look at time saving everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a real example of smart working you're doing in your business, Mark. Thank you for sharing how you go about things. I know health and safety is one of those hot potatoes. People don't really like talking about health and safety, especially if they're not doing it properly. But you're doing it very well, it sounds, and I'm glad you're finding the software is helpful in that element of your business. So.
Great.
Thanking you.
Yeah, thank you very much again for your help. It's and insight into it. It's great to hear that it's making a difference.
Yep, no, that's no problem whatsoever.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, well, on that note, I think we'll round it there, if that's all right with everybody.
Yep, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Yep,
Cheers,
no problem.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I hope you can see from that discussion with Mark that it's very easy to use Health and Safety Xpert. It simply involves inputting the details of your job into the software, and the software will automatically select the relevant paperwork. Alternatively, you can just import the job from your estimating software, and the software will automatically analyze the job and produce all the documentation that you need, including cost assessments, site inspections, method statements, and all the rest of the information. It's fully CDM compliant and also works in line with the CHAS protocols. Annual support and update ensures that the software is up to date with any changes in legislation. And as Mark says, it's much cheaper than a fine. If you've got any questions about the software, please call our sales on these numbers or email us at sales@hbxl.co.uk. If you're using the software at the moment, you can call us on those numbers or email us on support@hbxl.co.uk if you've got any queries. Thanks very much. See you soon.